Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So, explosive news. How could this happen? But now there's talks about restarting FTX once again. So, let's talk about the latest with this development and also talk about some of the other important things going on today that no one else seems to be. So, let's get started. Change my screen. All right, so welcome. Right now, you could see Bitcoin is back above 21,000. Like nothing happened the last few days, right? Bitcoin's been holding very strong despite market sell-off, and we're right back to 21.1. The entire market cap is also coming back up, not nearly as much as 1 trillion, but getting closer and closer and closer. The U.S. market tomorrow looks like it will open slightly green. Today was pretty red. Netflix blew away subscribers, and now they are skyrocketing in the aftermarket, right? But the one thing that no one is talking about is this. I don't know how this could be ignored. Janet Yellen and the U.S. Treasury Secretary is taking extraordinary measures to avoid default on the U.S. debt ceiling, which I thought the deadline was today. And Congress needed to figure out or come to agreement in terms of whether or not to raise it, right? But most likely they need to raise it, because if they don't, Janet Yellen is going to have to start cutting off some programs because she won't be able to afford to pay them, right? And it's a death spiral basically from there on out, right? Now I hear one side says that, well, we can't just let this go on. At some point you have to make a stand, right? You have to say enough is enough. We can't keep going the way we're going and bankrupt the nation. That's true, but you don't want to have these arguments last second, right? And I don't hear anyone talk about this. This is big news, but no one seems to care. I don't see anyone talking about it, and I want to know what's going on. I thought they were going to discuss this, but maybe they're postponing until tomorrow or something. I thought the deadline was today. So again, I'm gonna keep my eye on this. Obviously, this is big news, and people are brushing it off. Not even CNBC is putting this on their front page. That's how much people are brushing this off. But anyways, but it's because of this. Okay, it's because the current financial system that we have is so broken, right? That's why even though 2022 was absolutely horrible for crypto, right? Despite that, cryptocurrencies, or owners, I should say, jumped 39% in 2022. Even as things crashed and corrected, and now we're coming up from bottom, even that did not keep people away from learning the truth, right? That the Fed, central banks around the world, they really don't know what the hell is going on, right? They do what they can to patch the hole, so to speak, but the hole keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, right? I've kind of explained this many times in the past, but more and more people want to opt out. They don't want to see their money inflate away to nothing, right? They want to invest in hard assets. So that's actually awesome to see this, right? Number of global crypto users going up and up and up and up, and going up even more toward the latter half when Bitcoin was actually coming down more, right? But we have wiped out the losses from FTX collapse, and now we're back above 20,000, which is great. We're in recovery from the bottom, right? But it's amazing to see the numbers grew so much, even in 2022. Imagine when we're not in a down market, when we're actually going up again in the next bull market, how many people will come in and opt into Bitcoin and crypto and decentralization and blockchain and dApps and everything else that's in the space? right? That's truly fantastic. Fantastic to see. And, you know, I just got done talking about Texas the other day because Texas wants to buy Bitcoin, put on their balance sheet. But Texas is also, they're welcoming Bitcoin miners because actually, with all the Bitcoin miners in Texas, it has done tremendously for their power grid because they had to upgrade, right? The state had to upgrade and everything has gotten better. So now, look at this. Another state, Governor of New Hampshire, recommends Department of Energy to review how Bitcoin mining can help stabilize electric grid. So basically, New Hampshire wants to turn pro-Bitcoin mining. So now you have states that are not even countries, but even states are jumping in because they realize the benefits, right? Maybe they're not going to add Bitcoin to their balance sheet like Texas is, but they do realize that, hey, if you welcome the Bitcoin miners, right, they use a lot of energy, but they also pay. They also pay a lot too. And those payments could definitely help boost up your energy grid, your power grid, and make it better for everyone, right? So they're starting to see that. And I'm sure a lot of other states are going to be looking at the same thing too in the future. All right, now, speaking of FTX, the big news, the new chief, John J. Ray III, said today that they are exploring everything, including restarting FTX.com. So, okay. Does this mean that they recovered enough? Do they really think they have enough to just restart FTX.com? And do they think users are actually going to come in? Do they really trust FTX after what happened, right? I don't know. But this is wild. He's talking about it. Recently, there's been a lot of numbers. John has been saying they recover $5 billion of assets, right? And they have $5 billion more of assets they could sell off. That's $10 billion. So originally it was reported they were, $8-9 billion in a hole. Well, that's $10 billion right there. So can they really restart? I don't know. I think there's a far-fetched idea, I guess, but maybe. And that is why FTT token is pumping, because people think, well, if they restart, well, I better buy some FTT token. That's the last thing you should do. That's not what you should do. That's purely speculative and pure FOMO, or you could argue whales are causing this to happen. No, even if they restart, they're going to get rid of that token. Not a good idea to be FOMOing into FTT right now, right? But people are excited. It's kind of like, people FOMO into Voyager tokens, right? Like, these tokens are going to be discontinued, but I guess people are speculating maybe they'll be converted or something. I don't know, but it's not a good idea. But who is saying, I told you so? That's Sam. Sam sitting in his parents' basement, still tweeting away, still talking about, how he told everyone that, that FTX was solvent. But he specifically was saying that FTX.US was solvent. He said FTX.com was not solvent, insolvent, right? So that's not what John Ray is saying. John Ray is trying to bring back FTX.com. But maybe he's going to bring back FTX.US too. Maybe he can make everything whole, right? But SBF is saying, haha, I told you guys so, but... and then SBF throws some more shade because Sam did say that he was tricked into bankruptcy because he heard that John Ray made a ton of money, through bankruptcy hearing of Enron, right? And whoever tricked him to do it basically, I don't know, wanted a payday or something, or wanted to give John a payday or something. So he's throwing shade at John Ray. I don't know. If this somehow reboots, right, you got to figure that there's something else, something big that's happening behind the scenes. There's no way in hell that FTX should be rebooted. if anything, they should just give people their money back, right? Give their crypto back or cash it out, give it back, right? But not reopen it. If they actually do reopen it in some way, you got to figure there's some very powerful people behind this, pulling the strings, making this happen. There's no way in hell this should be happening. I don't know. I don't know, guys. But I did want to give you guys a preview of what's coming tomorrow. I told you guys I was working on something, and I want to get your opinions on this because I have this. Take a look. SBF Adventures. Sam is pretty busy. He has a lot of time on his hands, right? So this will concentrate on what Sam has been doing or what he will be doing in the next 9 months until he has a court hearing. So I'm going to release that tomorrow night. So you guys should look forward to that. All right. What else is going on? Huobi is confirming that Justin Sun is now the leader, right? And because of this, I'm not a fan. I've never been a fan of anything that Justin has taken over. So pretty much this means the end of Huobi in my eyes, in my opinion. And I have shown, charts that measure volume and market share, and it has been dropping so much over the last 2 years as Huobi, basically all of Huobi's customers basically shifted to Binance. So I don't know. Justin's probably going to run it to the ground just like he did with Poloniex. Who knows? All right. And then as for Gemini, because of this whole Gemini Earn thing and Genesis and DCG and stuff, right? CoinDesk is measuring Bitcoin inflows, and it is at a 6-year low. So right now, there's a lot of distrust in Gemini. So you could see that inflow is basically almost to zero, right? So no one's really putting their money into Gemini at this point. You could argue there's a massive exodus of Bitcoin from the exchanges. That's true. But if you look at Kraken and Binance, for example, yeah, they're coming down, but there's still large amount of inflows periodically, right? But if you look at the blue, which is Gemini, it's near zero. So right now there is still a lot of fear about what's going to happen with Gemini, right? So hopefully they stay open because they're still one of the most regulated exchanges in the U.S., right? Hopefully they can solve this. They are being sued by SEC right now because of their connection with Genesis, so hopefully they get that resolved. And then lastly, speaking of DCG, right? It's been reported that CoinDesk is up for auction because they need the money to plug that hole. And guess who's interested? Charles Hoskinson. He's interested in buying CoinDesk for whatever reason. He's asking how much CoinDesk is being shot for. So if CoinDesk is being shot for, let's say, 700 million or 750 million, I wonder if Charles is going to buy them out. And if he does, what's going to happen? I don't know. It's kind of interesting. So just to throw that out there. All right, that is pretty much it. Overall, today's a pretty good recovery day. We're back above 21,000, right? 21,100. You have several altcoins coming back up again. Last few days, altcoins sold off more than Bitcoin. Now they're starting to come up again. So tomorrow, Friday, and heading into the weekend, we could see a really good recovery back above 1 trillion once again. Let's not forget last weekend, okay, or last Friday, we were still below 20,000, right? So in 1 week's time, we came up really quickly. So can we see more? Can we see another resistance being broken? Who knows? All right, let's do some Q&A. All right. Christian Hun said a drop dead date is June 5th. Okay, so there's a little bit of time, I guess, to solve the debt ceiling issue. But, yeah, I don't know what they're going to do about that. Seems like a horrible position to be in, regardless. Everyone on Twitch, welcome. It's hard. It's hard to get people on Twitch. No one's watching crypto on Twitch, so I may have to give it up soon. Let's see. Someone tweeted about LCX. Okay, what's LCX again? I don't know, so I can't talk about it. Let's see. The bulk of my bag is in my Ledger wallet. What exchange would you recommend when cashing out 200K or more? Depends on where you are. If you're overseas, Binance. If you're within the US, again, Coinbase or Binance.us. There's a lot of options now. So it's up to you. I don't know. In terms of exchanges, there's just not that many. There's a lot of exchanges that are really not fiat exchanges, so you wouldn't really use them to try to cash out. So cashing out, I say it's limited, but I would definitely say Coinbase, Binance, Binance.us, even Gemini, and I don't know what else overseas. I've never tried cashing out like with something like KuCoin. I know they have it, but I never tried it, so you give it a shot. Someone says Charles says it's 200 million. Wow, 200 million is a lot lower than estimates. I saw a previous document. I don't know who reported it about the assets that DCG hold, and that document said CoinDesk was worth like 750 million. So if it's really being only sold for 200 million right now, I mean, that's a huge drop. Fang Kong, what do you think about Shiba Inu? I think it's just fine. Shibarium is coming out soon, so that could cause some enthusiasm with SHIB for sure. Someone posing as Sheldon from Crypto Bandit got in my Treasure wallet. How? Did you give him access? Colleen, you know, doesn't matter who asks you. You should never, ever, ever give anyone access to your wallet. You should never share your private key, never share passwords. So I don't even know how they got in. Unless you thought it was him, Sheldon, and then he asked for it and you gave it to him. My question is, why put all your coins on a ledger, then back out to exchange? Maybe he just wants to sell out. If you want to store your crypto, having it on a hardware wallet is fine. But then, you know, if he wants to cash out, that's what he has to do. Emery Perez, this is why you need a tax software, right? I was talking about like coin tracking. They will pull all your information together from the crypto exchanges and then allow you to import that into whatever or give it to HR Block, right? But the HR Block is not going to look at all your transactions and figure it out for you. So you do need some kind of software to help you with that, unless you manually do it, which you can. Hourglass Crypto, no to the interview, but happy birthday. Well, coin tracking, I mean, there's Coinly, there's a few others. There's Coin Tracker. I mean, I've tested and used all of them. They're pretty much all the same. Either you open up your API key for read access on, or open up API access, I should say, get a key, and then you use that to import your records into the tax software, or you could plug in your wallet address and it'll scan for you, or you can manually do it. You could import like a CSV file. I mean, they all pretty much work the same. Alexandre, no. The chance to find your seed phrase is less than winning like the lottery, okay? No one's go randomly find it. Did I drive a new Type R? No. I would love to drive it. I was given a chance to buy it. Like the Honda dealership I was working with, they're like, hey, do you want to buy a Type R? I'm like, how much? And they wanted like 4K or 5K over MSRP. I'm like, no thanks. Even if they weren't charging it, I don't have the garage space for that. I'm wondering why you say at the beginning of each string, I and George were all George. Nate, it started years ago. Basically, throughout the bad, we all need to stand together, right? Kind of like I am Negan from Walking Dead. But I started saying it years ago because people suggested it, and people like it. That's it. A Square Dynamics? Probably not. You shouldn't be asking through a super chat. Chris, I never did get my Cardano node up. It was a big hassle. The company we were working with, I thought was legit. They dragged their feet. They took forever to answer questions. I didn't feel comfortable moving forward with them because I thought, well, if we run into problems, if they're this bad at responding, that's not something I want to put upon, users. So I just scrapped it. Maybe someday, but not a priority at this point. Joe, if you're sending crypto between wallets, it costs you a little bit. You have to pay a little bit of gas fees, right? Or network transaction fees. So just a little bit. DZO. I'm just going to call you Dr. O, even though it's not Doctor. It looks like. Yeah, I would love to do something in Vegas. NP07. Yes, I did get an update. And I took delivery. So, yes, I do have it now. Covered up in my garage. I always carry a little ETH in my wallets. That's the thing. That's the one thing that people are not used to on a self-custody wallet. With exchanges, when you send out, it'll automatically subtract off some fees. So you never get a warning like you can't send because you don't have enough. But with a self-custody wallet, that happens because if you're trying to send all of it out without reserving some for gas fees, it'll error out and you can't send. A lot of new people get scared. They're like, oh, why can't I send? Right? So that's something you have to get used to with a self-custody wallet, is to leave a little bit left to pay for gas fees. There, I'm not a Ada Will for sure. I wish I was, but I'm not. Have I looked at a Flux? I'm glad you got a Flux node running with a Raspberry Pi. Wow, interesting. Yeah, I've looked into them before. They're like a decentralized host, right? They work very closely with Cadena, and last time I heard they were working with someone else, I forgot. But yeah, they basically, they're like decentralized cloud service, right? And they are still proof of work still, which is rare these days. What's the main difference between Polkadot and Cosmos? Well, Polkadot wants to become like Cosmos, I feel like. So they just enable code that allows them to have more interoperability, ability to create bridges, get more DeFi NFT projects aboard, right? But Polkadot originally was created to only have like 100 or 125 side chains working together, talking to each other. I don't know what made them come with that number. Cosmos is just, they provide SDK, and then people utilize that to build their own chains or projects, and everyone can talk to each other within the Cosmos ecosystem, right? That's why it's called Cosmos. The name is fitting. So very different, very different. Does Weibo charge gas? Everyone does. Everyone does. Can you explain how BTC halving won't push on? It's not something that I want to talk about again. I've been talking about a lot recently. You have to watch some of my previous streams or watch my future streams where I talk about it again. Sunday swap, they're no longer the premier Cardano swap. Not by a long shot. It's min swap now. So I don't actually know. Sunday swap was once upon a time the biggest DEX on Cardano. Cardano's DeFi ecosystem is really small compared to others. So it could certainly change, but I have no idea what's going on with Sunday swap anymore. I don't know why they lost their position. Yeah, Coinbase Pro got decommissioned, so now it's just Coinbase Advanced Trade, which is just like advanced features built in Coinbase that you can enable. When you select trading, you could do simple or advanced trade. Advanced trade basically gives you more charts and ability to do stop limits and a few other stuff that other exchanges offer. Rich, congratulations. Happy birthday. Are you sure you look younger than Charles? I'll take your word for it. If it's your birthday, you should not be hanging out here with me. You should go celebrate. But I appreciate your support. Got 124 people watching on Rumble, but no one is talking. How's that possible? Where is everyone? Where's the conversation? All disc golf. What do you think about Proppy? I've never liked that project. I think fractionalizing real estate, to me, I just don't see. I just don't see it. I just think it's way complicated. I think there's going to be a lot of jurisdictions. If there's lawsuits and stuff like that, I think it's going to be an absolute nightmare to resolve. So it's for fractionalizing real estate. I can see one day how it could be a big like trade, but for now, not my thing. Not my thing. Lazarus hand? Lazarus hand. Sorry, I'm horrible pronunciation. First time chatter, welcome. Another idea, if you're looking for more viewers on Twitch, gift subs to your regulars on Twitch like me. I don't get ads on YouTube. I prefer Twitch. How does gifting bring more viewers, though? That's the thing. I need more people to just actually search for it on Twitch. Okay, now people are chatting on Rumble. It's like, come on. Do you think there'll be another sellout for China for Chinese New Year in 2 days? I don't know. I think it would have happened already, right? I think there has been some years where, yeah, you see a big drop-off beforehand. And a lot of Chinese companies, a lot of people take off like 2 weeks straight. But you know, we're so close to it, I think we would see it already. And plus we're recovering from bottom, so I don't know. Probably not going to happen. Jerry, the two projects, the relationship is they're both L1s, they're network protocols, but how they operate are completely different. They're not even close. Am I paid by WTF? No. I wish I was, but no, I'm not. What do you think about Pi? I don't think anything of them. I think too many people are asking about it. I don't know. Some people have really negative opinions about Pi, so I don't know. This is something that I never really looked into. Are you going to South by Southwest? I don't even know when it is. I've never been to South by Southwest before. She Metaverse got the invite, will be on display. Okay. If anyone's going there, if any brands or companies going there and want to invite me, sure. But I don't know. I don't know about spending my money to go there. I don't even know what time or what day. Are you going? You know, people that are asking me if I'm going anywhere, I'm not going anywhere. I have no plans on going to attending any conference. Maybe Bitcoin 2023. And that's a maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I find these conferences to be non-entertaining, non-educational. Really, I don't feel like I'll learn a lot from them, to be honest. At least not by being there, because everything gets reported. Anything important gets released online already. And plus, I don't like the concept of these conferences because they cost an arm and a leg. You know, Consensus, Bitcoin 2023, at least these big guys, they're charging like $500 a ticket. And then some are charging $1,000 or $1,500 or $2,000 a ticket. So they're not for the general masses. They're for the elites or the people that already are in this space. And that's not helping educate anyone, right? They really should make the tickets a lot cheaper. Like I'm talking about $20, $40 a ticket, not $500 or $1,000. No one normal, no one off the streets, no one that is curious you know, a college student maybe that wants to learn, they're not going to be paying $1,000 to attend these conferences. That's been my biggest gripe. That's why when I have mine, GeorgeCon or whatever I call it, right? It will be very, very cheap, reasonable. Okay, I'm not gonna be charging, you know, $1,500 a ticket. You know, the problem with Woo Network is it's not open to U.S. residents. So every time I check it out, it bans me because of my IP. So, I mean, I looked into them. You know, they're growing their DeFi ecosystem for sure. So from that perspective, yeah, they look promising because DeFi is only getting stronger, I believe. But because they're blocked from the U.S., basically removes me from the equation. Am I coming back to Twitter? I'm still undecided. I still don't see a benefit of being on Twitter, to be honest. I just feel like everyone's on Twitter is so addicted to getting the clicks and views, you know. That's why they're on Twitter like every hour, every 30 minutes, tweeting something, trying to think of something clever, trying to look smart on Twitter because they're so addicted to it, right? I'm already addicted enough to creating videos on YouTube, so I think that's good enough. I don't need to share something every like 30 minutes. So until I actually see some benefit from growing Twitter, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I use Twitter for news. You guys know I cover news. You know, I like to see what SBF is tweeting, right? But that's about it. I don't feel a need to be posting anything. All right, guys, let you go. Overall, Bitcoin's back above 21.1. We're heading into Friday. This weekend, I totally forgot it's Chinese New Year this weekend, right? So can it help us, hurt us? Right now, it's looking like we are recovery, so that's pretty good. FTX could be restarted, rebooted, which I think is laughable if that happens. But I guess we'll see. We'll see. So tune in tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. All right? I'll see you guys tomorrow in the morning. Take care. Bye-bye.